At 7:20, we actually get an NFL game, guys. Patriots would sit at 9-4 in the 2 seed. Remember, but if they win, they keep the 1 seed. The Colts are sit at 7-6 and sit at the 6 seed. But a loss could be detrimental to them. That could put them at 7-7. And you have to hope teams like the Bills and the Broncos and the who else sits at 7-6? I can't remember. But there's other teams that sit in 7-6. And, Browns? You gotta hope all these teams will lose if you want to stay in that top 7, right? So the Colts are having a big game here. The Patriots also, because if you lose this game and the Bills win on Sunday, then the Bills are only a game behind. And guess what? They play you. They play you in a couple weeks in Foxborough. So, man, this is a big game for the Patriots as well. On the NFL Network, obviously the Patriots have so many injuries, and I'm going to go over all of them. It's not great. So, now, they have running back injuries. They've had running back injuries in the past, right? That is an obvious thing they've always had in the past. But the thing is, they would always have questionables, and then those guys would play, right? There's only one person listed as questionable for this game. Damian Harris has a hamstring injury. He's out. J.J. Taylor's on the COVID list. Obviously, he's out. And James White has been out with a hip injury since really the beginning of the year. The only questionable is Brandon Bolden. He has a knee injury at a limited practice, so he's questionable in this game. I think they're gonna have to be like, hey, Brandon Bolden, could you possibly play in this game? Because Ramondre Stevenson, the 2021 fourth-round pick out of Oklahoma, will be their only active running back. Obviously, you'll sign some guys off the practice squad or other people's practice squads, but you kind of need another running back. And obviously, if you could talk Brandon Bolden into it, and if not a real serious injury to his knee that couldn't really be damaged further, you would want him to play in this game. Tight end Dalton Keene has been out since the beginning of the year, really, with his knee meniscus injury. That leaves, obviously, 3 tight ends. Hunter Henry has 2016 second-round pick out of Arkansas, and Jonnu Smith, 2017 third-round pick out of Florida International. Those are 2 guys that the Patriots spent a lot of money in free agency bringing them in to help make their offense better. Sorry, guys. And then David Asiasi, the 2020 third-round pick out of UCLA that they took. Center David Andrews has a shoulder injury, a limited practice questionable for this game. And also Trent Brown has a calf injury, limited practice questionable for this game. So if Trent Brown's not able to go, they're going to take Justin Herron and put him as starting 2020 sixth-round pick out of Wake Forest. If David Andrews can't go, as the depth chart list, Ted Karras, the 2016 sixth-round pick out of Illinois, would come in to fill that center spot. But if he can't, he's the starting left guard, so likely Mike Onwenu, I think I pronounced his name right there, the player out of Georgia Tech, will come and fill that left guard position. So you would be switching around 3 offensive linemen if both these injuries held. Defensive tackle, you got Christian Barmore has a knee injury, a limited practice question for this game. Byron Cowart has an undisclosed injury. He's on the PUP list, so he's obviously not going to be able to play in this game. If Christian Barmore can't go, you're going to only have 3 defensive tackles. There's going to be Lawrence Guy, 2011 7th-round pick out of Arizona State. David Godchow, the 2017 5th-round pick out of LSU, and Carl Davis, 2015 3rd-round pick out of Iowa. Defensive end, you only have 1 injury, really. That's Henry Anderson. Pectoral injury is out for the year, though. But they've been able to do pretty well with Dietrich Wise, 2017 4th-round pick out of Arkansas, and Chase Winovich, the 2019 3rd-round pick out of Michigan. Linebackers where they're having their serious problems. And before I was talking about linebacker injuries, it wasn't that big of a deal because a lot of them did come back. Only 3 of them have actually a lot more have the possibility of coming back. I'm lying to you, but there are some that are not going to come back. I'll tell you those first. Ronnie Perkins has an ankle injury on IR at least till week 18. Raekwon McMillan has an ACL tear. He's out for the year. And Cameron McWarden has an ACL injury. He's out for this game. So who are players that could come back? Jawan Bentley is the most likely. He had a ribs injury. He has a limited practice, questionable to be back for this game. Terez Hall was put on IR. Terez Hall and Harvey Lange were both put on IR. Terez Hall for an undisclosed injury was put on the PUP list, actually, and Harvey Lange was put on IR for a knee MCL injury. They were both supposed to be returning this week. We'll see if that holds to be true. And then Josh Uche. And Anthony Jennings. Anthony Jennings had an undisclosed IR, so he was supposed to return this week as well. And Josh Uche had an ankle injury. He's also supposed to return for this week. If none of these people return, The Patriots will be stuck with only 6 linebackers. That doesn't sound like that bad, but they have a lot of linebackers on their roster, so it would really hurt to lose all those guys. Matt Judon, a 2016 fifth-round pick out of Grant. Obviously, they didn't lose any starters, so that's a great thing for this football team. Matt Judon, 2016 fifth-round pick out of Grand Valley State. He starts at one of the outside linebacker positions. Dante Hightower is the middle linebacker, 2012 first-round pick out of Alabama. Kyle Van Noy is the other outside linebacker, 2014 second-round pick out of BYU. Backing up Judon's going to be Brandon King, 8th-year player out of Auburn. And then backing up Dante Hightower thanks to an injury, I believe, to Juwan Bentley. If Bentley's not able to go, you're going to have Jelani Tavai backing up Dante Hightower. Tavai is a 2019 second-round pick out of Hawaii. He was drafted by the Lions originally. And then backing up Van Noy is going to be Jamie Collins, 2013 second-round pick out of Southern Miss. He also played in Detroit. He also has an injury at strong safety. Adrian Phillips had a knee injury, had limited practice questions for this game. He's a backup strong safety, but he does play in a lot of nickel and dime situations. Obviously, Kyle Duggar's going to keep that starting position in 2020, second-round pick out of Lenoir Rhine. But Justin Bethel is going to have to actually tip into the Adrian Phillips role, 2012 sixth-round pick out of Presbyterian. And then the other injury they have is kicker Nick Folk has a knee injury, limited practice questionable for this game. They don't have a backup kicker, so they'd have to sign someone on game day. The Colts, on the other hand, obviously we know they sit in 7-6 years. They don't have many injuries. Honestly, if you can see, the list of the Patriots goes onto a second page. The Colts injury doesn't even cover half a page. There's about 4 different positions I want to cover. So center, Ryan Kelly has a knee injury, did not practice, so he's questionable for this game. If he can't go, Danny Pinter, the 2020 fifth-round pick out of Ball State, is going to end up backing him up. Not a huge deal, but, I feel like it's worth mentioning if Ryan Kelly can't go. It's not a big deal. I mean, obviously you're going against the Patriots, the number 2 seed in the division, a chance to be the number 1 seed if they win this week. Obviously, I feel like you got to have a great center to help stop the pass rush of Guy and Godchow. Defensive tackle's the real place of weakness for this football team that's really come down on them. Antoine Woods had a calf injury, so he's 100% after this game. And then Robert Windsor, obviously, at the beginning of the year, the rookie out of Penn State, had a hip injury. He's also out for the year on IR. So Grover Stewart has an illness. He's questionable for this game, and they kind of need him, considering they only have 2 healthy defensive tackles. Obviously, DeForest Buckner he's a beast on his own right. He has a 2016 first-round pick out of Oregon. Taylor Stallworth would also take over that second defensive tackle position. 4th-year player out of South Carolina. You kind of need him to step up if you can't have Grover Stewart for this game. Strong side linebacker is one of the only other injuries. Zaire Franklin, the starter at that position, actually got COVID-19. So Matthew Adams, the 2018 7th-round pick out of Houston, is going to have to step into this starting role. And then obviously free safety, Julian Blackman has an Achilles tear. He's out for the year, but that's been there for a while. So Andrew Sendejo, obviously 12th-year player out of Rice, has been playing phenomenally well. And George Odom, 5th-year player out of Central Arkansas, has been playing well as well. So what do I think in this game? I think I was so high on the Colts to start the year. I really was. And when they started after that bad streak, I was thinking maybe I got the pick wrong. I still think they've rattled off wins. They've looked like the team I thought they had the possibility of being this year. They don't have all that many significant injuries. Now, I understand an injury to center and defensive tackle could really end up hurting you, especially if Grover Stewart can't go. But I don't know. The Patriots are dealing with so many injuries in their own right. Obviously, Ramondre Stevenson has shown themselves to be a possible beast this year, but I really like the Colts. I don't know. It is just me, but I think the Colts are a really good football team. I think they run the ball really efficiently with Jonathan Taylor. That's the big injury. That if he was hurt, I would be like, oh, this season's done for the Colts. But he can carry the football team all by himself. I think the Colts are actually favored in this game. I agree with that. The Patriots have way too many injuries for me to buy into them. I think they're already a team that a lot of things have to go right. They have to control the ball. They have to do a lot of things to stay in the lead of their division. They have to do that to all keep winning. The Colts are not a team that has to do that. They have explosiveness on offense. They have some elite running back. They have an elite running back. They have an elite quarterback. They have an elite receiver, Michael Pittman. They have an elite defense. There's just so many things that are elite about the Colts, and they don't have all the injuries. I think they're the better team here. Give me the Colts to win this one.